gotten into this whole thing, to be honest, like part of the reason why I got into this whole thing is because of the criminality of it. There's something attractive about the outlaw. There's something that I always liked about Robin Hood. You know, it was me and my mom growing up, and we didn't have much money. My mom had to work at the hospital, the night shift every night in the emergency room. And so when I heard about Robin Hood, you know, robbing from the rich and giving to the poor, it was something appealing about that. It was something like thinking about someone coming to our door and maybe helping us out, something that would have been good. My old man wasn't around, it would have been good, you know. There's something about that that at a very young age had something to do with me getting involved in this whole struggle. And it wasn't just that like I was interested in environmentalism or wanted to hug trees or anything like that. It was more fundamental that I just thought that people should do right regardless of what law has to say about it. And that actually, to be completely honest, that there was something totally appealing about breaking the law to do something right, to do something that's just, that's more just than what the law says. And we found ourselves at a time in this country, in this world, where the law is not necessarily serving our best interests. The system in general is coming far from serving our best interests. And so, growing up in that world, you know, it's like, I can do what they say. I can keep doing what I'm supposed to do, or maybe I can try to do something else. I can resist what's going on. I can fight back. And so there was something really fundamental about what am I going to do with my life? What am I going to make of myself? Well, who am I going to be? What am I going to say? What am I going to tell my grandkids? What do I stand for? What do I believe in? What am I going to do before I die? And so, you know, at that point, at a young age, I was coming to the realization that I needed to do something to make a difference. And it wasn't then, you know, as a child, that I was getting raided by the FBI, even though I was thinking the same things that I thought at an older age. It took a lot more than that. And so first thing I did was, well, okay, I'll join these nonprofit organizations and try to see what they're all about, you know, see if I can learn something, see if I can make a difference that way. So I joined nonprofit organizations as a teenager, you know, send all the money that I could grab off to the 501c3s and see what they could send me back in the mail and learn about politics, what's going on. So from there I learned about, you know, different environmental issues, different animal rights issues, different civil rights issues and so forth, and wanted to get involved naturally. You know, they're doing something that's good, they're doing something I can believe in, and these are people who are putting their personal interests in their lives on the line for something that they believe in. So yeah, you know, I'll go to that protest that they mailed me in the mail. So I started going to the protest. The next step, and at that point, you know, I was young. I was thinking, oh yeah, you know, we're gonna yell, we're gonna chant, we're gonna do something, we're gonna make a difference. You know, started doing that, and that was kind of exciting for a little bit. You know, holding a sign, making some noise, banging on some pots and pans and stuff, and I got real into that. You know, it was better than watching MTV or whatever other kids were doing. So I got real into that, but still, it wasn't at that point that they came kicking in my door, wanting to, you know, see what I knew about people breaking the law. That would come later, you know. So eventually, going to these protests didn't seem to do it for me anymore. You know, I wanted to do something else, and I heard about these other kinds of protests where maybe you go into the woods and you try to stop people from hunting, or maybe you go to a building where they're polluting or something like that, and you know, you lock yourself to the door so that they can't go to work that day or something. Civil disobedience protests, you know, and I was reading about Gandhi and reading everything I could get my hands on, and I thought, all right, man, I'll do that. You know, that'll be exciting. See what jail is like, you know, take the next step, right? Pick up the pressure, see what's going to happen now. And so, started doing that, and I went pretty overboard with that, you know, because I loved it. It's like, all of a sudden, I wasn't just yelling and no one was paying attention. All of a sudden, I was yelling and there were TV cameras there, right? And so it's like, oh yeah, that's an ego trip for a little while. You know, I was getting on the news, was getting in the papers and stuff like that. And there was a group of us, and we kept going to meetings, and we kept picking up the pressure, doing the next thing. But still, it wasn't then that they started kicking in my door, you know, wanting to know about buildings burning down and stuff like that. No, it wasn't then. I was going to jail, I was getting misdemeanor fines and so forth. But for the most part, state repression was pretty much out of my realm of reality. I read about it, read little booklets about what to do if an agent knocks at your door and stuff like that, but they weren't coming. Not yet. And as life continued on, it's like I may not have been getting that direct state repression that you could get at a different stage, but we were still struggling. We were still suffering on a daily basis. Everything that I had been learning about, environmental pollution, the destruction of the earth, suffering of different races, of different sexes, ethnicities, species, whatever on the earth was good. It was only escalating, but things weren't getting better. But still, at a personal level, they weren't kicking in my door yet. So we had this group going on, and we talked about all different kinds of stuff. And one of the things we liked to talk about was people who broke the law. There's just something about the group of people, our organization, that we like to talk about people who were breaking the law. People who had broken the law historically and who were in the contemporary setting breaking the law to bring some kind of freedom to the people. And so one day we got One day we got a communique in the mail from a group called the Earth Liberation Front, and that was in '97 when they first started stepping up on the scene, and we had to figure out what we were going to do about it. And we decided that there were a few different things we could do about it. We could hide it, we could burn it, pretend like it never came. That was option A maybe, and then the other option is that we could call up the authorities, let them dust it, see if there's prints on it, and then there's the third option, which is the one that really was the only one that was kind of even slightly interesting to me, was to call up every news station we can think of and get ourselves on TV talking about why this was a good thing that happened. And so once that started, it just kept going from there. The ball kept rolling. As soon as we did that, the second we called up the televisions and said, these people who burnt down this building that was polluting this river or so forth, we like them and we hope they do it more. And we're going to come out every time they burn some down. We're going to come out and say, "Yay!" We're going to throw our fist up and cheer for them, and stand up on the front of the paper and say that these are our homeboys. We're going to do that every time it comes. Well, as soon as we started doing that, that's when we got someone coming to our door from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and everyone else that came with them, Oregon State Police or whatever. As soon as you start to do something that's going to have a concrete effect on the system, that's going to put some real pressure on the system to try to change what's going on in a real way that threatens the power structure in any physical way whatsoever, that's when you start to get repression from the state. That's when this little pamphlet about what to do when they knock on your door starts becoming something that's actually useful and makes sense to you. Because they'll let us do, even with the Patriot Act now, there's no need for us to get ridiculously paranoid about what's going on. Even with the Patriot Act, there's still going to be protests. There's still going to be letter writing. There's still going to be civil disobedience even. All this stuff is still going to go on. But as soon as you do anything that directly threatens the power structure, that's when all these changes in laws, or even before the Patriot Act, that's when they come up and they say, no more of that, we're going to put pressure on you, we're going to scare you, we're going to try to hunt you down. That's when it becomes a reality. And so, I remember this one day, right after we put out the first or second communique from the ELF, and we had this guy come to our door from the ATF, the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Bureau, and he came up to us. Actually, we were in the backyard, and he came up to us, and we were working on a garden. He said, "You know what? You guys are walking a thin line. You're walking on thin ice. You keep doing this, and you're going to be in trouble." We told him to leave, and he just kept coming back. He came to our storefront. He came to our house. It just got to the point where it was pissing us off. I mean, we're just people. We're just regular people. We're working for change. We're trying to do something different, trying to make a difference in this world. And here's this guy, who's making money. He's making lots of money, right? And he's getting put up there on a pedestal like Mr. Success Story. And here we are, living 12 people in a house or whatever.